We've just bought a retired ambulance, and we're going to convert this into a dream tiny home.
Every year, thousands of these bad boys get taken off the UK roads. Most of them are no longer fit for emergency. However, some of them just have to be scrapped. With the crazy campervans going crazy recently, it made me question, why don't many people convert an ambulance? When these things are working, they get services every 6 weeks. The back is way wider and taller than most vans. However, as soon as we got a drill in our hands and started ripping this thing out, we realised stripping this thing out was not going to be any easy task.
First thing we tried to unscrew, what a pain. God, that's so... Oh! This thing's solid.
And not only just that, there's loads of components that we have no idea about, starting with this strange oxygen tube.
The amount of breath that's gone through this.
Because we have no clue what we're doing, before we do anything potentially dangerous to our ambulance or ourselves, we're going to speak to a professional.
Oh, oxygen meter thing.
And I'm so glad we did.
So we've been told by an ambulance man that we should wear gloves because you don't know what chemicals or blood's been spilt in here, and I don't want to get anything in my cuts. So,
yeah, so we're all putting gloves on and gonna carry on.
And my God, he brought up a very good point. With ambulances having to pick up people in all types of conditions and using chemicals that aren't too good for you, after this point, we're going to play this safe.
Hey! Okay, so my granddad has just popped by to check out the ambulance and he's getting stuck in.
Just look at the size of these things. They're everywhere holding this up, and we think it's glued on.
Look at him! My granddad!
The back of ambulances are built so strong so they can protect the passengers from a crash. And a lot of that strength comes from these cupboards. So no wonder why we struggled to get these off the wall.
Yes! Oh, it's still screwed into that!
That is good. Right, so this side, except for the tail lift mechanism, is almost done. We're going to remove these seats, and I can't wait because it's going to feel so open now.
A few months back, we converted a bus into a coffee shop. And if these bolts were anything like the seats on that thing...
Oh, yeah, look. What bit is that? Why are you supposed to unscrew them?
We would have been in for a nasty, nasty day. However, thanks to this ambulance being way newer than the bus, it only took us about half an hour to get these things unbolted.
Yeah, body up. Couple of steps. Oh my God, that's opened it right up.
So much room for activities now. So there's no better time to do this.
Whoa! Whoa!
Perfect.
Now, remember when I said that all the strength comes from these cupboards? I wasn't lying. We had to try and get all the little bits off that make this thing an ambulance in order to access the main shell.
Give her a pull, babe.
Oh my God, they're all separate.
There we go. All right. That's right. Should we pull them off? Yeah, let's give him a pull. One.
Oh!
Oh my God! Look, it's coming off over there. So this whole thing goes all the way back to this wall, and all the way to the floor. Gotta come off. We gotta get that chair off before anything else. The chair's going.
Before we could take out the main unit, we had to disconnect it from this middle part. They weren't lying when they told us it was built to last. It wasn't just the strength of this we were surprised by.
Oh, hello electrics! Wait, look at that! Yeah! No, you want me to go? Oh, here we go! Yeah! Oh my God, this is so heavy! Yeah! This is an ambulance, not in an ambulance.
After we nearly lost the will to live, it was quite good to see this because it reminded us why we bought an ambulance.
This thing's so spacious now!
Right, we're into our last cupboard. We've discovered these tubes up here, which we think go to the engine for the aircon, so we're not going to touch that. But we are going to get this big beastly cupboard out so that we can start measuring up where we want things to go.
At first, I wondered why there was an aircon unit in an ambulance, but it kind of makes sense because they were built to keep patients comfortable. But for us, this aircon unit messes with our plans, so this thing will be ripped out a little bit later on down the line. But oh my God, after a day of smashing and bashing, we got this thing emptied, and it's now a complete shell for us to work with. I can't believe how much aluminium and plastic come out of this thing. Just check out the pile. But before we do any more, it's time to give this ambulance a bath.
Go far back.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's it.
Ready?
Go!
3, 2, 1. That is disgusting! This is gonna cause so much rust!
From past trial and errors, this is the best way to clean a floor in a commercial vehicle.
Oh my god!
That is disgusting.
Why is everything so dirty?
Once we give this thing a thorough scrub, it's time to get the wet back out and suck it all up.
Look at the difference of that after it's been scrubbed a few times and hoovered with that thing. Parker, let's get the rest of it done.
Now the ambulance smells a lot less like an ambulance, it is time for us to head to the cab because we've got some work to do in the front. Next thing on the ambulance conversion, we want to make access to the back from the front. So we are going to cut this all the way down to the top of this battery box. So hopefully you'll be able to climb through into the back.
Hooray!
All right. That's the shape of the hole. Do you reckon you're going to fit through there? Yeah.
With a 9-inch grinder and no fear, we got to cutting this thing out. One problem with ambulances being built so well and insulated is the fact my 9-inch grinder wasn't big enough to cut the whole way through.
Gonna need a lot of cutting. What the hell?
Behind the initial metal sheet was about 3 inches of this foam. I had to chisel a little channel out in order for me to get the disc cutter further through.
It's the back of the ambulance! Now for the hardest part. That might come in handy.
Sparks were going flying! And we wasn't too sure if mixing ambulance things with sparks was a good idea. Luckily, we got the worst of it cut out and managed to pull this thing off. As if it was easy as just that.
Sweet progress.
The original plan fell through, so it's time for plan B.
We're doing it in sections.
Hooray! We've got it!
Oh my god. I can't believe how hard that was. And finally we can get to the snack drawer. Now the mind your head sign makes sense.
Okay, it's a new day. Yesterday was a bit crazy. Can you notice anything different about the ambulance?
Goodbye, blue lights.
The blue lights are a super cool feature, but they'll be better off in the hands of an ambulance man. These blue lights can go forward in ambulances, so they can be used as repairs or spares for other ambulances. But for now, we got problems of our
We're a
own.
busy one today. We've got a lot of things to do. So I lock this thing. Locked. Open. We have no central locking to the back of the vehicle, so we've got to repair that. Basically, some of the cables have been snipped up and there was battery powers at the back, but now it's not the case. We've basically got to rewire the central lock into the front of the vehicle so it opens and closes with this. And you may notice these things, we've also got to board the whole floor up because we couldn't get these things up, so we've got to raise the floor up to match the height of this. That's all going to happen later, but for now, let's get finding the central locking system.
With ambulances, their central locking is completely separate from the front and the back. When these ambulances get retired, the people strip the back completely for its power so that none of the components can work. They keep any parts that aren't useful to any campervan DIYers, which is all well and good, however that means our central locking doesn't work. And with this thing being turned into campervan, central locking is quite important so you can sleep safely at night. So what we're attempting to do is find the cables that run to the front central locking system and connect the back ones to it. Now we have no idea what we're doing here, and if you guys do central locking, you'll know exactly what I mean.
We've just spent the last hour trying to find the cable. If we take out this guy, take him out, doesn't work. So now we've got this cable here. This means if we cut this, tap in with a Wago to the cable to the back, that's the power. Am I right? And then that should be able to power feed the back.
If only things were that simple. Even with Dan doing his connection thingies.
Good luck. Definitely not locked. Right, so it turns out that we spent all morning wasting our time. There is no way that we can connect the key fob to the back fob because there's so many components in it that have to talk to each other. We can't just connect a cable to it to have power and talking as well. So the communication problems won't work and we have to install a whole new system on the back. So we got to tidy up all this mess we've caused and actually crack on with some useful work.
Although that was a 3-hour setback, we have got some good news. We do make some good progress by the end of the day. And that starts in the form of floorboarding.
Dismissing the hard work, they calling it talent. And I find that disrespectful, cause I put on the mileage. Up for the shit, but I'm down for the challenge. Step off the scene just to find me a balance. These niggas don't wanted to get it, cause when it got hard, them niggas are quitting. How much
Thanks to ambulances having already insulated floors, all we had to do was stick some 5mm plyboard down to raise it to the same height as these rails. I wish we could have just drilled these things out, but they were too rusted. Nevertheless, we cracked them with the floor in, and then that left us with one more problem. There was quite clearly 4 long lines of holes. So in order to cover these things up as smoothly as possible, we had to get a little bit creative. We got a mix of pure cement and water and just wetted it up until it was smooth and liquidy. This was like a homemade floor screed leveling, just a way cheaper version. Nevertheless, we troweled this as smooth as we could so you couldn't notice it under your feet, but that left us with one more problem.
We finished this to about as good as we think we can, and we're gonna come back tomorrow to see how this bad boy's set. Okay, let's check this out and see how it's set. We kind of realised that this definitely probably wasn't the best thing to do because firstly it's ice cold and it's come up very bumpy, but it's not the end of the world because it needed to be filled anyway. So basically the plan now is to fill any gaps and then with a bit of underlay and a bit of like carpeted vinyl or whatever, you shouldn't feel it and it'll be nice.
To end the ripping out process, we are finally spraying down on the floor the rough layout plans we have in mind for this camper van. But these aren't telling you guys much, so stay tuned because we're about to explain to you the exact plans that we've got for this camper van build.
Okay, so these are the plans for the camper van. We've got a full-length shower that's going to be plonked here. A 700 by 700 shower tray. That's going to be a full-length shower that you can actually stand up in, and it's also going to house the toilet. Over in this corner of the ambulance, we've got the water storage and the water heater and the wastewater storage, all in here, all accessible from the outside. We've got a 50 unit for storage for anything else you're going to want, maybe the gas heater and pots and pans, etc. A 30 drawer, all overhead storage above here. In this corner, which I'm most excited for personally, we're going to have a little log burner. Hopefully we're going to have a fold up countertop, so then when you're not using it, it can fold down out the way, but when you want to use it, it can fold up, adding more storage. In this corner, we're going to have a full 50 wide larder going to the ceiling. That's going to house the fridge and have any other storage that you're ever going to need. Now, accessible from the outside via this door is going to be the inverter, battery, the fuse board, basically all the electrics that you don't really want to go near. Now, the craziest part, which we're not really sure how we're going to do yet, if any of you guys know, that'd be sweet, let us know in the comments. We want to have a bed that basically goes up and down. So that's going to be the main master bed. Over in this corner here, we're going to have a sofa which pulls out to be a second bed because by the end of this trip, we're going to go skiing with our brother, which we need 4 people to be able to sleep in this thing. So that's the plan for that. And the last thing, which is probably going to blow your mind, this ramp is going to become a decking area so you can have an outside seating / fire whenever you want it as well. So woohoo! And hopefully we get to look at like a dive in the ocean off it or like snowboarding ski thing. Like I don't know. What a crazy week! What the hell? Ambulance things are proven difficult. So if you guys have stayed to this point and enjoyed, please drop a subscribe, a like, a comment, whatever you'd like. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.